So I originally was going to do a video about my Inktober fail, but now I have to stop everything and make a video explaining this. Hi everybody, Daphne here, and welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, check out my artwork at the galleries and social media sites next to me on the side here, and don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can get notified whenever I upload a new video. And as always, there's free comics waiting for you at the link in the description box below, so don't forget to sign up for them. So if you're on YouTube and you haven't been living under a rock, I've been seeing the whole, I guess I would say, panic over the COPPA regulations that are going into effect January 1st. And it's going to affect a lot of YouTubers, especially those that do family-friendly content. So the thing about now, there's a lot of videos out there already that explain COPPA and what's going on in detail. But pretty much the gist of it is that YouTube and their parent company Google got busted knowingly collecting and selling data from children, actual minors. And the government found them in violation of COPPA, which is the actual regulation that prohibits this type of behavior, fined Google. And now Google and YouTube is turning around and pretty much changing their platform to reflect compliance for these regulations, which is all said and good until they figured out a way to make it the individual creator's problem and not a platform problem. So this first came to light several months ago. People they were concerned, but they weren't actually like, oh, it's probably not going to be that bad. All we have to do is mark our videos as not for kids and we'll be good. Well, a couple of days ago, YouTube finally released their official video concerning the COPPA compliance. And it turns out it's a little bit worse than what was initially understood. And depending on what type of content you're creating, it could be like, oh, this is inconvenient, or it could be, this is catastrophic and we can't do YouTube videos anymore. But the problem is that the regulations are so vague that really nobody knows how to really react to this, and honestly, YouTube is not helping. So like I said, they released a video and they were saying how all the videos have to be compliant. You're either kid-friendly or you're not kid-friendly, which on the surface is okay. And the consequence of that is that if you mark your channels as kid-friendly, you lose pretty much a lot of benefits of being on YouTube. You lose the ability to have your videos recommended. You're demonetized pretty much because you can't show targeted ads. You can't have comments, end screens. You can't have anything that you can recommend your videos to unless you're passing along the exact link, but people can't just find your videos anymore unless they have that exact link. The thing is, like, okay, well then if you're not doing kids content, then you just mark your channel as not being kids friendly and that's the end of it, isn't it? No, it's not, and that's really the problem. With the new video that YouTube put out explaining the situation, what they're pretty much doing is that they got busted with their hands in the cookie jar. They got to pay a fine, which being a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate, they can do quite easily. But the rest of the responsibility they're dumping on individual creators, which I find absolutely ridiculous because we weren't the ones collecting the data. We have no access to that data. Even if we wanted, it's like, even if we wanted to literally not have children watching our videos, we have no control over that. In order to sign up for YouTube, you have to be 13 years and up. It seems like YouTube has been ignoring this pretty much and allowing literal children to have YouTube channels. That's kind of ruining it for the rest of us, because the fact that YouTube is making me control for that is absolutely ridiculous. Here's the thing that's going on. The thing is that YouTube is asking people to mark their stuff as made for kids or not for kids. Here are their criteria though. Okay, made for kids, factors to consider: the subject matter of the video, if children are the intended audience, if it includes child actors or models, if it includes characters, celebrities, or toys that appeal to children, if it uses language that is meant for children to understand, if it includes activities that appeal to children, and if it includes songs, stories, poems that appeal to children. Now, the thing that kind of makes me stop is the line, if it includes characters, celebrities, or toys that appeal to children. Now, here's the thing. With a combination of manually marking channels as we suspect this channel is for kids, YouTube is using AI learning, which we all know is suspect to begin with. And they've made it very unclear as to what the AI is going to be looking for. Then again, they're vague as to what YouTube is looking for. You know, I may have some pops in the background. Is that going to trigger the AI? It's like, oh, you have toys in the background. Is this, so this must be a kid's video, and it's not. I run a channel that's mostly about comic art, fan art, just art in general, art tutorials, speed paints, comic videos. None of that stuff is for kids. I do not make videos for children. All my work outside of YouTube is for kids 13 and up. I don't make stuff for babies. I don't make stuff for toddlers. I don't make stuff for 8-year-olds. That's not what I do. None of my content is suitable for that. YouTube, being a platform where you have to be 13 plus to even have an account, you'd think that worked out in my favor. But because YouTube wanted to be sloppy about everything, not really. But again, I have no control over who's watching my videos. My intention is that my videos are for 13 and up. And as a result of all this going on, I'm marking all my videos, I'm putting graphics up or whatnot saying that this channel is for 13 and up. I do not make kids content. Even if I'm drawing fan art, even if I'm drawing, talking about comic books, I'm talking about these topics as an adult speaking to another adult, or even if you're like in high school or whatnot, but I am not talking to children. And by the way, if you're not familiar with my videos already, I share this office with a parrot. That's all the noises you're hearing in the background. At this moment, it's going to be a little difficult for me to edit him out, but just so you know, if you hear any weirdness in the background, that's him. So the thing is that my videos are adults talking to adults. At youngest, I'm talking to high schoolers, kids going into high school. At least that's my intended audience. Now, the problem is that YouTube has taken the step further in dumping their problems on us by saying that even if their algorithm marks our videos, like say we mark it as not kid friendly, and their algorithm says, why, yes, we think this is kid friendly. Or even the reverse, where if they don't mark any of your videos as kid friendly, which so far none of my videos are marked, has been marked. But what they're saying is that doesn't mean that you're in compliance. YouTube is doing all these things, but they're still dumping the final responsibility on you. And what that means is that the FTC has said that they are going after individual creators for violating COPPA, even though the initial violation was YouTube and Google itself. Although part of the government's investigation was that they did find there was a children's channel with an actual child in it doing toy reviews that was not disclosing that their toy reviews were sponsored. So they were the first channel to get fined for violating COPPA on an individual level. But they're being shady, so that should happen. But what happened is that the rules are so vague, it seems like the government, in their attempt to go after, or at least their warning that they're going to go after individual creators, they're not going to make the distinction whether you're being shady or not with your videos. That even though Google not Google, YouTube will say that it's like, well, maybe if your stuff has kid-friendly content, but the context of the video might not be. Like if you're doing like game reviews or something, or collector toys, that might not be an issue for YouTube. But if some wound up tight government official who thinks that, well, it's toys, it's all for kids, it's comics, it's all for kids, it's cartoon characters, it's all for kids, that's where we can get into trouble. Because what the government, the extra layer the government is using is if your content is kid attractive. And that's where it gets really, really bothersome for me. Now, me personally, right now, my channel is currently demonetized because, being a small channel, I don't get the views and stuff. But in the end, it's like, that's not really the issue for me. But the fact that I do content that could be construed as kid attractive is what really, really bothers me. I mean, you just look at my background, of what you see, and it's like you have the Pops, you have, figures, you have some Disney stuff, you have comics, you have Rocket Raccoon, you have all sorts of things back here that maybe a kid could find attractive. Does that mean that this channel is for kids? No, of course not. The concept is ridiculous. So one of the things that I've been doing in the last couple of days, along with trying to rebrand everything, hoping that that'll make a difference, is there was a link that I'll provide below where you can actually speak to the FTC directly concerning COPPA, where you can tell them how the law should be changed. Because you got to remember, the law was written in 1998. YouTube didn't exist. The internet as we know it now didn't exist back then. So we're talking about we're being held to standards that don't reflect what's going on now. In fact, from what it sounds like, the government wants to treat individual creators like we're networks. And they're talking about if they find you in violation of COPPA by listing your videos as not kid-friendly, and they say, well, we think it's kid-friendly, they can fine you up to like $42,000 per video violation. Look, really? It's like, we're not NBC. We're not Time Warner. It's like, we're not, Disney. It's like these companies can afford to take these hits when they happen. I remember reading the fine that Google got represented 2 days worth of profit. Just 2 days. 2 days. So it's like, that's pocket change to them. They can afford to take these, to take these chances, break the law, pay the fine, and then go on their merry way. The average person doesn't even have $500 in their bank account for emergencies, but, we're talking about fines up to $42,000 per video. So yeah, so the link is below. So, and I'm going to leave like a couple of articles also for you to read to kind of understand what's going on. So when you post to the FTC site, you can pretty much explain to them that COPPA is archaic. It needs to be changed in terms of how it affects small creators. But the thing is that just because something is family friendly doesn't mean it's kid targeted. The thing that grinds my gears about the COPPA thing is how YouTube is pushing individual creators under the bus for their own unethical business practices, and the government treating small creators the exact same way as giant networks. We have no access to any of the data collected. We have no control over parents not controlling their kids' viewing habits, because that's part of the problem. There's YouTube YouTube Kids, but there's not enough content on there, so parents are letting their kids watch YouTube, which is now getting all of us in trouble. But I especially don't like that kids attractive is going to be a factor in the final decision making over our content. And this is the part that gets me. Comics, games, toys, fan art, Disney vlogs are enjoyed, shared by adults everywhere. It shouldn't be codified into law that these items are specifically for kids just because kids might be attracted to them. You know what else is kid attractive? Forks and electrical sockets. You don't see anybody trying to sue Home Depot. Maybe the fact that my channel is currently demonetized is shielding me, but I refuse to mark my channel as kid-friendly. None of the work that I create outside of YouTube is for anyone under 13, so my videos reflect that. And I can't help but smell a trap. So if I mark my channel as not kid-friendly, I can get targeted by some square who thinks that comics, cartoons, and fan art are for kids. However, if I mark my channel as kid-friendly, not only do I lose everything that kind of makes being on YouTube worth the hassle, but that same person might come after me saying, well, you marked your stuff as kid-friendly, but your stuff is not absolutely kid-friendly. You have stuff in here that we wouldn't recommend for kids. So even though I can mark individual videos as kid-friendly, I don't even know what that even means. Because I'm saying it's not kid-friendly, but it seems that I could potentially be at the mercy of someone who thinks that, oh, cartoons are for kids. Oh, you do a Disney Channel? That's for kids. Even though all the Disney channels that I watch have nothing but adults in them, talking about the adult experience at the Disney parks. I don't watch family vlogs. But the thing is, though, why an adult couple being at Disney should be treated the same way as a family at Disney, that doesn't make any sense to me. On a side note, the thing that's also really getting in my craw is that a lot of people are saying, oh, it's not YouTube's fault. This is the big evil government coming in and messing everything. It's like, no, the government didn't get involved. They didn't jump out from behind a tree going, free market, we're coming to get you. No, that's not what happened. Google and YouTube literally got caught with their pants down doing something illegal, and the government had to step in. Yeah, so it's like, I'm a little confused by all this, but then again, so is everybody. So I guess it's enough rambling about this from me. If you want details, there's a lot of videos out there, and I'm just really honestly ranting about this and explaining why all of a sudden all my videos, and I'm putting up graphics, and why I'm now going to start introducing my videos as 13 plus. So if you're 13 and older, we're good. If you're under 13, you really shouldn't be here. You may be attracted to certain things that I'm doing. I'm not making this for kids under 13. So that's pretty much it. I'll leave the relevant links in the box below. Make sure that you take advantage of the comment opening at the FTC, explain what's going on, that adults should be able to talk about what can be considered children's content without being accused of making content for kids. It's two different things. And the fact that something can be kid attractive, it's like, honestly, look, there's a lot of things that are kid attractive that should never, ever be near kids. But that's what they do. They're kids. They're attracted to everything. I understand the need to protect them. I understand the need to keep shady companies from taking advantage of that. I understand that. I get that. But the thing is, the way this is being done now, it's like, I'm not the one running the platform. I'm not the one collecting the data. I'm not the one advertising, literally, to children. So I don't understand why I have to be responsible for that. I don't know how, it's going to make me think about how I make my future videos. But pretty much so far, I plan on staying on YouTube. I plan on making more videos. Like I said, it's just going to change the way I make them and how I present them, because now I really don't want anyone to come and think that it's like under any circumstances I'm making children's content. But again, it's really dependent on someone else I have no control over. Like I said, check out the links below, read the articles, comment to the FTC saying how much BS this is, and with any luck, I'll see you on the next video. Bye.